Yeah, that's all. Dr. Jones. Yes.
Keisha.
Mayor Jones.
That's what I said.
Mayor Jones. Yes, yes. Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to welcome you all. Thank you all for joining us for this groundbreaking event. My name is Crystal Cobbs, and I'm the chair of the Danville School Board. And most of my colleagues, if not all, are here with me. As I call your name, please stand. We have Mr. Terrell Payne, Mr. Charles McWilliams, Ms. Keisha Averett, Dr. Campbell, and up on the stage with me I have Mr. Brandon Atkins, as well as our illustrious leader, Dr. Angela Harrison. We also have here with us the Danville City Council and the City Manager, Ken Larkin, and I will allow Mayor Alonzo Jones to introduce council when he comes up. Tommy Bennett, if you would please stand, President of the NAACP. Lieutenant Colonel Harrison, he has his hand raised back in the back. Thank you for being here. Mr. Clyde McCoy, who is the Westmoreland Neighborhood Association President. If you would raise your hand, Mr. McCoy. All right, we also have several members of the Langston Alumni Group. If you all would please stand. All Langston alumni, if you would please stand. And raise your hand if you're not already standing. Thank you all for being here with us today. This event marks, Reverend Avon King. I did see Reverend King, President of SCLC. This event marks an important milestone in the transformative renovation project of John M. Langston School, the future home of Galileo Magnet High School and our Danville Public Schools Central Office. Getting to this point was not easy, but the citizens of Danville chose to invest their dollars into our schools and our students, and I think that deserves a round of applause. Thank you to the citizens of this community. On behalf of the board, we thank you and for that investment. I will now lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance, and then Mayor Alonzo Jones will say a few words. If you would, please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mayor Jones.
I want to say good afternoon to everyone. Good afternoon. Can we give our young people from Galileo a big hand? I had an opportunity to hang out with them just a few minutes ago. When I heard that I was coming to Langston, Madam Chair said we'll have Mayor Jones give just a few words. But when I heard I was coming back to Langston, my alma mater, I became very, very, very nervous because I was hoping none of my teachers would be here, Miss Barksdale and Miss Banks and Miss Hickson. And then I looked out there and saw Miss Wilson. And so, Ms. Wilson, I'm going to try my best to behave myself. Let's give Ms. Wilson a big hand. When I was assigned to Langston, Ms. Wilson, when you were here in Mr. Cruz, and I did not understand the buildings at that time, and I said, well, if they're assigning you to a building that represents the grade that you're going to make, I may be okay if I get D building, and they assigned me to F101. I told my mama when I got my report card, I said, Mama, that F, if you see an F, that's the building that I'm in. Again, we want to thank you all so much. I want to take this opportunity to present some of my colleagues. Our city manager is here. City Manager Ken Larkin is here. Our Deputy City Manager Earl Reynolds is here. You've just heard an introduction. One of our police officers, Lieutenant Colonel Dean Harrison, is here. Councilman Barry Mayo is here. Councilman Brian Hood is here. Our Vice Mayor, Dr. Gary Miller, is here. Lead Vogler, our Councilmember Vogler, is here. And our city staff, you see, if you're viewing by River City TV, Mark, Aaron, and Arnold, and all the city staff, please raise your hand, please. And to all of you important people, we say hello. I just want to pause on behalf of the city of Danville and the city staff, all of our citizens, to say to all of our Danville Public School employees and staff, you're absolutely amazing, and let's give them a big hand. Look at this beautiful setup today. Madam Chair said I had a few minutes, so let me say thank you, and we appreciate the opportunity and invitation to be here on this occasion. What a great day this is. It's not only a great day for the school, but it's a great day for all of Danville. So I joined school board in thanking you for being here today at John M. Langston School. Let me pause and say something about this track. When the storm came in and it put all these holes in this track, I got to say, Ms. Wilson, I was so happy, because when Coach Logan would get upset with us, he would make us walk around that track. And when I saw all those holes in that track, I said, Lord, you are a mighty good God. I don't have to walk that track no more. Coach Logan, stand up, let us give you a big hand. That's the Coach Logan over there. There are many people here today watching us from Ceremony on River City TV. We welcome you. As you've heard, we are here celebrating the first two transformative projects that will be starting this year. You've heard me talk about so many times about the importance of partnerships if we are to prosper as a city. Your city government and your school system is partners. I can't say it enough. Once again, to the outstanding DPS staff, faculty and staff that are here today, we want to say thank you. As I've said, your city government and your school system just a few minutes ago, we are partners. That partner is you. When I say you, I'm talking about all the citizens of Danville. I'm going to say this with great passion. It is the citizens of this city who last November went to the voting precinct and said, yes, I care about education in Danville. If the citizens of this city who last November went to the voting precinct and said, yes, I care about the students of Danville, it is the citizens of this city who last November went to the voting precincts and said, yes, I am going to cast my ballot in support of the 1% sales tax and the bond referendum because I want better school facilities. You said, as citizens, I want learning environments that will help every student achieve. You said, as citizens, I want students to have 21st century upgrades. You said, as citizens, I want students to have greater technology access. So as mayor and all the members of city council, we want to say to our citizens, council, join me with a standing ovation to our citizens and say thank you so much for voting yes. Since the referendum in November, city staff has worked closely with our financial advisors at Davenport and Company to structure a bond issue that will provide immediate funding for significant capital improvement here at Langston School and Danville Public Schools. If by chance you had the opportunity last night to see the city council meeting, city council voted unanimously to pass the bond referendum. This week, we took the final steps and we'll be issuing the bonds. We anticipate the bond closing by the end of April, at which time $129 million will be available. I repeat, $129 million will be available. I paused and didn't get homage yet, and I take this opportunity because I had it later in my speech. I want to pause and give thanks to what council feels is a dynamic superintendent. Today, School Superintendent Dr. Angela Harrison. Can you join me in applauding her, please? Can you join me in applauding her, please? I'm going to say it one more time like we in church. Maybe you can understand it. Can you join me in applauding? Don't let her husband be out there clapping all by himself. Thank you so much. They don't give me a chance to talk with her much. I have to talk to the chair so I can talk right here. Thank you. The work that will take place as I close should be personal to each and every last one of us. These buildings and facilities are our schools. They are your schools. These students are our children. These students are your children. Thank you for being here today. And once again, this is the third time that I'm going to say this to the Danville Public Schools staff, faculty. We thank you so much for all this beautiful setup. We know it took work. We thank you for all that you're doing for our children. We thank you for the hard work that you're doing. And again, as mayor of this city, along with city council and the city staff, thank you all so much for having us here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Jones and Chair Cobbs. I tell you, it's great to work with two dynamic leaders, leaders who are moving our city forward. Good afternoon, or good evening, or afternoon, I believe it is. I serve as your superintendent here in the Danville Public Schools. And again, my name is Angela Harrison. This is an exciting day. And I'm doing everything I can to hold my emotions back because this is such a powerful, exciting day. As Mayor Jones mentioned, the citizens across our community, many of you who went out and knocked on doors and paraded with us through the neighbors to tell them about this vote, many of you voted to improve facilities for our children. And today starts the process. Today starts the process. So let's give our community a hand. Please give our community a hand. You know, Langston has a long history of serving diverse opportunities and providing diverse opportunities for students and serving the community. My role as superintendent is to work alongside the board of the school board, community members, educators, and students to carry out the charge to ensure that Langston remains an important institution of learning in our community. Because you are important. You matter. Our citizens matter. Our children matter. You matter. And our team members, our district office team over there, if you wave your hand, Miss Whittle, who's a Langston alumni, was looking for your picture along the way there. Many of our team members have already started the work. The construction and renovation of John M. Langston will be a part of the $129 million investment in school renovation and construction for our community. The Langston campus will house, and we commit to you, innovative classroom spaces for students at the Galileo Magnet School, a newly constructed STEM and Career Academy for students across the district, a new gymnasium and auditorium space that will be shared with our community as we increase partnerships to support our youth. You will note that the track has been resurfaced and lined. A new soccer field has been seeded, and the trees and unsightly brush has been removed. Mr. McCoy made sure that I understood he needed to have the brush removed, so we did that, Mr. McCoy, for you. And I want to thank Frank Martovich over at the Adult Detention for helping us clear that brush. But more is to come. There will be lots and lots of opportunities for us to use this new space, this renovated space, to share experiences with our students and our communities. We're already working with our local community on use of the auditorium and use of the gymnasium to support our youth after hours. We will also have here office space, much needed office space, which will really save us about $280,000 a year from renting an office space for our district office. And finally, a space to honor and recognize the legacy of those who have passed through the hallowed halls of John M. Langston. Because while we transform our future, we must pay tribute to our legacy. So thank you to our Langston alumni for being here today. So what's next? Architects will begin the design work. We've already received the proposals from the architects on the renderings and a facility review. This has already occurred. We're already working very hard to ensure that this is a smooth transition to contractors. You will begin to see us clearing the facility. You will begin to see us repurposing some of the classrooms. You will begin to see activity around the John M. Langston campus. In 2.5 years, we expect to be back here for ribbon cutting, for a new experience for our students who are with us today, our central office staff, and our middle and elementary school students for that STEM and Career Academy. So we are moving forward at lightning speed, and I want to again congratulate our community, congratulate my home community, and thank you on behalf of the students and teachers and administrators across our district. Thank you so much. And now we'll have Mr. Atkins, our school board, and I'll tell you, Mr. Atkins was the representative. He won't say it, but he was the representative for the campaign for the Board of Education, the school board, and I can tell you the hours that he gave to our team to help us move this agenda forward were just remarkable. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I can assure you, you can multiply my hours by many, and Dr. Harrison put those in. So yes, I am here on behalf of as the liaison between the school board and the successful campaign to get this sales tax referendum and bond referendum passed. And thankfully, Mayor Jones and Dr. Harrison have covered most of the important points, but there's a few I wanted to go over here. Would be remiss not to thank the people who got us first to get on the ballot. We were approached by our delegate, Danny Marshall, several years ago and asked if this would be something we might be interested in. And it seemed like a no-brainer at the time, so we said, certainly. And then to City Council for understanding the importance of this and helping us to get this on the ballot, and your support during the campaign. And I think you'll agree with me that the renovations of the schools that Dr. Harrison described, I think, are just one more piece of the momentum that's building in Danville, and we certainly want to be a part of that. So as far as the campaign goes, we had over 100 people who helped volunteer for that campaign in one way or the other. There were approximately 75 speaking engagements, and we had volunteers at every precinct throughout Election Day. During the campaign and since, we've had 9 feedback sessions with parents, students, employees, community members, and others to find out what they wanted to see in the renovated schools. The vote was clear. More than 60% voted for each referendum. So I think that gives us a very clear imperative for the future. Mayor Jones mentioned that the tax and bond will yield north of $120 million to go to cover these renovations. And finally, I don't think we can underestimate the importance of space, of buildings. We can show you multiple studies that say that students do better in better spaces. But not to mention, these spaces will not be just for our students. We plan to make them accessible to the community and open to the community. So please join me in thanking the hundreds of volunteers and voters for voting for the referendum. And it is my pleasure to introduce a 1962 alumnus, Mr. Charles Smith. Thank you.
Good afternoon. First and foremost, I would like to give honor to my Lord and Savior, Jesus the Christ, for his goodness, his grace, his mercy, and this event. To those who preceded me on this momentous occasion, Superintendent of Danville Public Schools, Dr. Harrison, ladies and gentlemen. For those who do not know me, my name is Charles Smith. I'm a former student, teacher, and coach at my beloved John M. Langston High School. I would like to thank the superintendent and others for giving me this great honor to give closing remarks for the groundbreaking ceremony. In giving these remarks, I will definitely stay within the 3 B's guideline of good public speaking. which are be articulate, be brief, and be seated. Our United States Constitution says we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. During my lifetime, I have learned there are two major ways of pursuing happiness. One is recognizing your Creator by respecting, loving, and obeying His commandments. Two, education. My purpose for being here today is to highlight and emphasize the historical education of my beloved John M. Langston High School. During my youth and teenage days in Danville, we had two high schools in a segregated society. We did not know it then because of the misinformation coming from various sources, but it, in my opinion, was the best environment for learning we could experience. The teachers not only gave us book information, they also gave us tough love, teaching us how to be successful in a segregated society. They emphasized the importance of education in areas where students had the ability to pursue. There was no discrimination. Every student was given an equal opportunity. As a result, students graduated from Langston were very successful in becoming bricklayers, carpenters, plumbers, contractors, nurses, doctors, lawyers, teachers, athletic coaches, preachers, businessmen, dentists, computer programmer, corporate presidents, professional athletes, car dealership owners, real estate brokers, and so many other professions that I do not have time to mention. I can remember a famous quote coming from our great high school basketball coach, Howard Hank Allen, who, by the way, Langston, this gym, is named in honor of him. He would tell us, I don't care what you think of me now. I care what you think of me 10 years from now. We learn from our teachers that the only time success comes before work is in the dictionary. We learn to work twice as hard in order to be equal and successful in our segregated society. The teachers and coaches created a school spirit that was second to none. The basketball games exemplify an atmosphere of electricity felt by every fan. I did not realize how outstanding this was until I visited and taught at other high schools. The culminating results of this great high school was preparing outstanding, contributing citizens and making this world a better place to live. I'd like to thank the Danville Public School Board for preserving a place on site, for holding fast to our high school memories by giving us space to establish a historical John M. Langston High School museum. Thank you. And please join me in singing our high school alma mater, written by a former Langston student, Edith Whiteman, who also taught at our high school. Jerry Wilson will lead us in the singing, and if you want to sing along with us, we have lyrics that's been passed around. I hope they're passed around. Huh? Can we bring some copies up here?
We'll look at yours.
Let us get copies up here before we begin. Anybody else? Wait a minute. You got enough?
We're ready. Thank you. All right.
Okay, you ready?
We're ready.
Boldly we sing of our sweet feet have trod, seeking to bring to light the wondrous gifts of God. Where in thy chamber have sought success to gain. Langston, dear Langston, may the Spirit ever reign. Oh, proud of our hearts, may we forever be guided by Spirit true to thee, to thee. We cherish thy precepts, high, noble, and true. Langston, dear Langston, we sing, sing you. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Smith, what a surprise. Isn't that awesome? Before we go to the next, to our ceremony, that y'all are still singing. My gosh. Should we do it again? This is just all great. I want to take a minute to thank Wendy Hall, Victoria Irison, and our Tanya and our staff over there, Mike from our Langston and Maintenance for setting all of this up. And Lainey, thank you so much, as always. This has been just a treat. So at this time, I'll ask our school board members, our city council, Mr. Larkin, our city manager, if you will join us down here. We have, grab a shovel and put on a hard hat, and we're going to have a little picture time, okay? All right. Thanks, everybody, for being here.
Don't forget your phone up here, Dr. Harrison. Thank you.
You're gonna line everybody up.
Say what?
I'm gonna get everybody lined up and say what I want them to do before they shovel. I want them to just pose for photo opportunities.
Okay. We can move Mr. Smith down.
After that.
Well, we need Mayor,
Down a little bit.
Mayor Jones.
Okay. Okay.
And just have everybody looking straight this way because I know they got cameras all the way down. But they need to look
All right.
straight
All right. Gotcha. Gotcha.
All right, guys, so we're going to squeeze in just as much as we can, shoulder to shoulder.
Get Miss Ramsey in. Okay.
The first thing that we're going to do is pose for pictures, so nobody shovel yet. So let's go for that first. Nobody shovel yet.
Miss Ramsey needs. Can we scooch over to get Miss Ramsey in?
Yeah, what about...
Should we kind of
We have more. We have. They can move down too.
The shot's getting real
Take
wide.
2 steps.
It's gonna be hard to get everybody in there.
Everybody one step to the right.
One.
Don't space out. We need y'all to squeeze in as much as possible.
But
so
we need to. We need to.
Yep.
We need to get
don't want to be...
Nope.
Shift.
Yeah, just shift. Everybody
Which way?
shift. There we go.
Shift, not spreading out, but shifting, right?
I know you got a lot of cameras, but looking straight this way.
That's why I always wear shades. You don't know where I'm looking.
Dr. Harrison, right here. There we go. All right, so we're gonna make sure it's synchronized. We're gonna do like a 1, 2, 3 scoot kind of thing.
Okay.
Just make sure everybody has their picture.
Everybody got the first. Okay.
All right, hang on.
I'm gonna teach you boys. All right, on the count of 3, stick your shovel in the dirt.
Wait.
Oh, just kidding. We good?
Everybody good?
We're good? All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Just hold it, hold it.
Okay, hold it.
She said hold.
You follow directions, Dr.
You're not asking today, Dr. Miller.
Philip, first time you ever had
I ain't none Arnold.
The last two.
Are you ready?
Again,
He's trying to hire me.
To the left.
Ready?
All right, let's.
shovel the dirt.
It starts getting heavy.
All right, on the count of 3, shovel it away. Ready?
Shove it forward.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
All right, that's it. Get everything back for next week. You don't get to keep shoving.